Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 16th, 2022 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. And before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, I just want to thank each and every one of you for all your healing wishes, all your healing energy as I'm healing from this concussion. You guys have been absolutely amazing. So thank you so very much. Now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Libra be affected by the February 16th, 2022 full moon? Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, goodness, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. So we have a bit of a different setup here. Let me know what you think of it. At the front is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The back is our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side is the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Fool. And I love that. And we have Judgment. So that is absolutely beautiful. Our angels are really calling us to move forward. There's a sense of we feel foolish. Can I move forward this way? Can I not move forward this way? Is this what I want? Is this what I don't want? So there's a bit of conflict going on here. Then we have our inner self, which is the Ace of Swords, God, Source, Spirit. However you see the divine, the universe is handing us a gift just for ourselves because we are not ruled by, but we are the swords in the minor arcana. We are justice in the major arcana. There we go. Then we have the Five of Swords. So there's some sort of conflict that's coming into play. But there's also the sense of, I've been here before. Like, this isn't my first rodeo. I'm not going to go down the same path of self-doubt and deprecation and, despair that I have before. And then we have the Three of Wands. There's a new opening really showing itself for us. We have our, what is this? We have our our heart self. So it's the Ace of Cups reversed. So just being very mindful that there's a gift coming in from God, Source, Spirit, however we see the divine, the universe. But there's a sense of having a heavy heart. Like, we're not going to see this gift for what it is. And there's a sense of not cleansing away the past and really letting that weigh heavy on us. So do be mindful of that. We then have the Lovers, Gemini energy. So there can be a bit of a conflict with the way that we're seeing love at this time, or the way that we're connecting lovingly with a person or even with ourselves. with a Gemini energy. There could also be a bit of fight going on. I hate to put that out there, but there is this sense with the Five of Wands. There could also be somebody being kind of like two-faced to us, and it's really making us doubt emotionally what we're seeing, how we're taking in everything. So just be mindful about that. But there's also this sense of holding on to something, and it's because we're just so used to conflict. We're so used to the conflict and the chaos that we think, okay, this is normal. And Spirit is saying, no, it's not normal. It's really time to cleanse. It's really time to heal. It's really time to embrace the passion and the beauty of the duality of ourselves. It moves us to our public arena. And we have the Queen of Wands, which is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There is this real sense of taking in the beauty of our passion, of what we desire, of what we look for within our lives. And then we have the Fool once again. So as we take this gift of new beginnings, which the Queen of Wands is also these new beginnings, this new dawn. It's like something we're really starting to actualize it. We're really starting to realize it. It brings us on this new path. It brings us forward in a way that we just hadn't expected. So the Fool is saying here, don't be afraid to kind of think outside of the box, step outside of the box. Now let's look at the energy we have to be mindful of during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. And this is the Princess of Cups. So the Princess of Cups is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. There is going to be this sense of just a little bit of emotional immaturity going on here, something that we're having to deal with this sense of, am I doing the right thing emotionally? Am I not doing the right thing emotionally? Somebody's trying to manipulate us, use our better nature, also use the fact that love is so important to us. Relationships are so important to us against us. It's kind of like, if you loved me, you would. And there's just also a sense of being really tired of these games. So do be aware of that. We then have our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is flexibility. This is the Sacral Chakra. And the Sacral Chakra is where we hold our creativity. It's where we hold our, our sensuality, our passion for this world, and also for ourselves. And there's this real sense here with the Sacral Chakra coming forward. It's like, am I being flexible within my life? Because the Sacral Chakra also holds all the trauma and all the drama that we've been through in this life and in past lives. So is it leading to a rigidity of self and of spirit? Is it leading to a fact that, like, I don't believe I can because of, the past, because I'm afraid? There's the Five of Swords here. Something karmically is coming up. We've faced it before. We're going to come out triumphant. But the real fear is, will I? Will I be able to be strong enough to move forward towards what I want, towards this beauty, towards this connection, towards what I desire? And we have to have that faith in ourselves that we can. The full moon is in Leo. And so we're being told very honestly here, don't let pride get in the way. And that's going to be something that we might have a bit of a hard time with. It's like, okay, so which one is pride and which one is confidence? When it's all about the I, when it's all about the ego, when it's all about how we are perceiving other people perceiving us, or how even we're perceiving our own success and we're measuring it and worried about what other people think. And it doesn't mean that we have to be even actively going after something. It could be we have our kids out in public and they're not behaving right, or our dog out in public and they're not behaving right. And all of a sudden we overreact because it's making us look bad. It's like, okay, let me step back from this situation. Let me see what it is that I really desire. And it can be with anything. I use kids and dogs because they're kind of harder to control, but it can be with partners. It can be with just even ordering something and it coming in the way that we wanted to, and then just kind of reacting so much more than the situation really calls for. And that's the energy that I'm seeing around here, around this full moon, that everything is kind of heightened. And it's heightened with a bit of fire. It's heightened with this passion, with this intensity. So the moon is opposite the sun. Let's talk about this astrologically, which is how the story of the full moon always begins. And it has us focusing on our family, our home, our relationships, and it's really all starting to come into focus. But also what's coming into focus is opposite forces in our lives, our work and our home, our wants and our needs, what other people are demanding of us, what we are demanding of ourselves. This is a time where we are seeking balance, where the spotlight is being put on certain things, certain avenues, and we're seeking how to balance, how to understand, how to, kind of cope with things. And this is also a time where we need to listen to our inner voice. The lunar cards that we have say this is about surrendering to the divine. This is about, divine wisdom guiding us forward. It's about the power that comes from this moon. And it's saying, do I have the confidence in myself enough to let spirit guide me? And that's where the Fool is coming into play. This is a very positive, very promising moon because there's no real conflict here. There's a bunch of calm energy coming forward. We have the first full moon of 2022 that is not during a Mercury retrograde, which is absolutely fantastic. It's letting the light of this moon really shine brightly on us. Now, you might say, okay, Dane, this is the second full moon of the year. Of course, one was in a retrograde. This one isn't. Fantastic. That doesn't mean anything. But we have 8 shadow periods coming up that are all about, the moon, right? Not the moon, all about Mercury retrograde. That'll pull us into a Mercury retrograde. We have 4 Mercury retrogrades this year. So just being aware of it is going to be really important because let's take the calm where we can get it. Let's take the peace where it really elevates our spirit and ourselves. Mars is conjunct Venus and Vespa, and they are in Capricorn. Now, this is telling us go and get it. Get things done. Pay attention to the details of things. Pay attention to what it is that we want, what it is that we love. Remember, Mars and Venus were lovers in Roman mythology because Mars and Venus were lovers when they were Ares and Aphrodite in Greek mythology. And the Romans just kind of took things and tweaked things for their own, to fit themselves. So here we have that energy of the practical world, falling in love with the spiritual world, falling in love with the emotions, with the desires. And that's going to be something that we need within our heart. I don't quite understand why there is this blockage here because Libra, we usually have such open, beautiful hearts. And I think that's actually why, because Spirit's saying it's not that we don't have open, beautiful hearts. It is that we just feel like, okay, I've had enough. I've had enough of this nonsense. I've had enough of this trauma and this drama. So the alignment that we have with Mars conjunct Venus and Vespa in Capricorn, this alignment is also in harmony with Uranus and with Neptune. This means that the energy is very centered around what we want, what we need, how we're moving forward towards our dreams. Neptune rules our visual communication. It rules the way that we imagine. It rules the way that we see things. It rules the way that we interpret things towards our dreams. So here it's as well as, Neptune represents our dreams and what we hope for and what we long to become within this life, within this world. Remember, it is known as Neptune is known as the Lord of the unseen world. This is a time where we're taking our unseen world, we're taking our deepest desires, and we're starting to bring them into our seen world, into our conscious world. Well, Uranus is the innovator, the independent, unpredictable energy that moves forward towards imagination and creativity and idealism. This is an energy of the creative, the scientific genius. This is the energy of the person who thinks outside the box. It is important to know that the lunar nodes, both south and north lunar node, are activated by the full moon. And this is important because the lunar nodes are said to hold our destiny between them. They're said to echo our destiny back and forth. They are known as the nodes of fate. With the South Lunar Node being the energy of the past, it's our history, it's our story, it's even our past lives. While the North Lunar Node is our present, what we are hoping to discover and become, what we are seeing and becoming within ourselves. Jupiter is in Pisces. Now, this is important because this energy is really quite beautiful. And Jupiter represents success. It represents optimism and enthusiasm, and there's an energy here of being able to accomplish what seemed impossible. And so we're really bringing that to the table. Also, we have to remember with Mars conjunct Venus, we are ruled by Venus, Libra. So this is a time where we are really looking at what we love, and this is a time that we're also starting to doubt, am I being too whimsical? Am I being too fanciful? Is my heart really something that I can trust? Can I balance my emotions and my logic, or do I have to choose one or the other? So things come up during this time. That's why we're looking at the Fool. It's like, am I going to be foolish? And what Spirit is saying is that we're all always going to be foolish at one point or another. What we're looking at here with the Fool is this energy of, can I leap forward towards what I desire, what I want, what I need? It doesn't matter if people are saying that I can't. It's kind of like being told you're too old to have children, right? And I'm just using that as an example, right? So here it's like, okay, well, if I'm being told that, do I agree with it and let it seep into my consciousness? Or do I say that might be the reality for some, but it is not the reality for me? And am I answering the call of what I know to be true in my heart? So that's going to be something, it's just a random example, but that's going to be something here that we need to look at. It's like, am I listening to everybody else, all the naysayers or all the people who say this is the way that it's supposed to be? Or am I saying, no, I know that there is power and beauty and that I'm being called towards something great and wonderful for me. And so I take that leap of faith. I will fall, I will fail at times, I will scrape my knees, I will cry. That's what we do as human beings. That's part of our story. But will I give up on me? No. Because every single hero's journey begins with the person first being seen as a fool, being seen as a dreamer, being seen maybe even as braggadocious. So when we look at the ego getting in the way, it's getting in the way of us. It's not people saying, oh, that person is egotistical. No, it's us being able to say, no, but I see the bigger vision. I see what I need. And it's not about me getting accolades. It's about us moving forward towards what's truly important. And it's listening to that higher call. It brings us to our Ace of Swords, God's Source Spirit, again, however you see the divine, the universe, handing us this gift of knowledge, cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. And it brings us to the Five of Swords. So we're given this gift of clarity and clear sight and understanding and a clear voice, too, to be able to say what it is that we want. And yet we're going to be facing something. And yet this is why we're given it, because we're going to be facing something that has brought us to our knees in the past, that has made us doubt ourselves in the past. And now we're looking at the way that we need to move forward for what we desire creating within our lives. And it's going to be something that we might find triggering, that we might find upsetting, that we might have thought, oh my gosh, I thought I was done with this. But what we're going to see here is that we're standing before it now, much more confident, much more assured within ourselves. And that's where the new road starts to open up. That's where we start to see our ships coming in and also our ships going out. It's like I start to believe in me again. And that's a very powerful thing for us to do here, Libra, to be able to believe in ourselves, to be able to call our energy forward, to be able to see what it is that we desire, because we're getting this gift from God's Source Spirit, however you see the divine, the universe, of the Ace of Cups, but we're not taking it. There's a sense of the healing isn't there, or there's a sense of I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to release this, it's not going to weaken me again. And yet what we're going to need to understand is that by releasing it, we are set free. We don't need to hold on, or we don't need to pretend like it doesn't bother us. And what Spirit is saying here, it's what we're going to face again that we have faced before. And by saying, no, this is important to me, this means something to me, we're claiming our power back. We're taking the power back. And that's going to help us embrace what we love, what we desire. And it's also going to help us, as we embrace this love, to look at the chaos that we've been waiting for, or the next shoe to drop, or the argument that has kind of gotten out of hand, and saying, you know what, no, I'm done. I'm following love. I'm following the harmony of myself. I'm being present within me, within what I desire. And I'm looking at the chaos that is around me, the old fights that are coming back again, and saying no to them. I'm not being dragged down this road. This is also squabbling for the sake of squabbling. We might be so used to being contradicted, being, yelled at, being, just kind of taken advantage of. And it doesn't have to be by a loved one. It could be at work, or it could be even us contradicting ourselves or knocking ourselves down and saying, oh no, that dream is too fanciful, too whimsical. You couldn't possibly. It's like, oh no, you absolutely could. It brings us to the Queen of Wands. And it says creativity and leader and focus. Creativity and leader and focus surrounding us. Our mantra, our words forward. We are creative. We are focused. We are the leader who gets to say, this is what I want. And that's what we're stepping into in the public arena. People aren't going to realize that we're having this inner conflict. They're seeing us going after. They're seeing us taking our passion, what we desire. And so there might not be that kind of sympathy or understanding or compassion that we need during this time. And that's going to be, I don't want to say okay, but it is going to be something where it's like, okay, I see that. I understand it. I'm not letting you see what I'm going through, because this is my personal stuff. This is what I need to handle at this moment. I am moving towards my dreams and what I desire. Let you see me as a success, as powerful, as bountiful, as abundant, as creative and innovative, and just, shooting for the sky. Let you see me as that, because that is what I am walking towards. That is what you thought this foolish person would never be able to embrace, and yet I am embracing it. And there's doubts and fears as we work forward. It's like, can I trust this road, or can I trust my heart? Can I trust the way that I need to move for me? Yes. Just make sure we're not being emotionally manipulated. Just make sure that we're not falling back into old, wound patterns that make us feel like, oh, okay, this is safe, this is secure, or this is what I can do, right? We're breaking down those barriers, we're breaking down those doors, and we are finding ourselves as we do so, and we're following ourselves as we do so. So that really is quite beautiful. And I love here how she's following the moon. She's saying the new beginning begins with this spotlight that is put on me, with this soul that is guiding me, with this passion that is a part of me. And here it is purity and potential and risk and innocence and desires, and we might be innocent about the risks that we are taking, the way that we are moving forward, kind of like the roll of the dice that is coming our way. And yet, because we are taking that risk, we need that innocence, we need that kind of naivety that, yes, of course I can make it, because we're starting to stand out, we're starting to stand in ourselves, we're starting to break down these mental barriers that have been created around us, just even by the media, by ourselves, by the way that we've heard things, in our lives. And we're moving towards this beautiful new goal, this beautiful new desire. Now let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh goodness, there we go. All right. And so at our root, we have your hard work is paying off, the new moon in Capricorn. And it brings us to self-love. And that's really what this moon is leading us to. Self-love, self-understanding, this beauty, this passion, this warmth of the heart, this being able to accept the gift of the Ace of Cups coming in and knowing that our hearts are in balance. And this is a time where it might feel a bit difficult, but our hard work, our dedication to ourselves, to what we love, to what we desire, it really starts here. It really is shining within us, and we're seeing what we want and how we're moving forward and what we desire, and we're really starting to say, okay, this is where I need to be. Like, this is what's important to me. It brings us to our lunar inner self, and it is bring love into the situation. I love that everything's centered around love. It brings us to the new path. It brings us to the path that we didn't think we would walk. We didn't think we'd walk this rickety ladder into the sky, and yet this new path, though it's not something we thought we would be, walking down, it is something that is so intrinsically important to us because we're bringing love into the situation. We're remembering our hearts. We're connecting with our hearts. It brings us to our emotional self, our lunar emotional self. And it says you're very close to achieving your goals, growth. And it's almost like we have to go through those growing pains, that sense of like, how when you're growing, it hurts. Like you're like, oh, my joints ache and everything like that. Here, it's those growing pains. It's having to adapt to the situation. It's the wonderful thing. It's like moving in with somebody or getting married. It's like, okay, it's wonderful. It's fabulous. But now we have to learn how to do this, like how to figure out this. And that's the energy that's here. It's like, okay, this is wonderful. This is fabulous. But how do we do this? Like, how do I get this right? And that's how we're growing within ourselves. We are very close to achieving our goals, and that has brought us tremendous growth. But we also have to look at what is holding us back. What are we doubting? What are we fearing? Even if we don't know it, even if it takes us meditating on this, it's like, okay, well, what do I fear? And why do I fear it? And what's holding me back? What's denying me? It brings us then to our public arena self. And here it is a time to give rather than take action. It's a time to give rather than to take the action that we need. We need to give up the action rather than taking it. Now saying, oh, I need this. It's like, no, I need to bring this to the table. And that's going to be very important for us. It's a time of doing or giving rather than receiving. It moves us to our subconscious Luna message, which says adjustments are required, which is definitely true. Fear. Adjustments are required as we address our fears, our doubts, what's holding us back, what's keeping us back. And that's going to be very important because we can stay hidden away. We can stay down here, hidden within ourselves and never really let ourselves see the light of day. Or we can come out of the cage and be the crows, the murder of crows that is flying around her. I just love that a flock of crows is a murder of crows. And that brings us to sovereignty. That really does bring us to the power of the moon and of ourselves. And we're going to be seeing ourselves, taking this power more and more. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of. And that's justice. That's Libra. Libra, this is us. It's us getting in our own way, getting in our own heads. We have to be very mindful of being the obstacle that we need to overcome. It brings us then to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's holistic health. I love this card. It's the root chakra, and it's healing ourselves. It could be going on an elimination diet. It could be, looking at emotionally what we need, how we need to show up for ourselves. It can be journaling. It can be, foods and drinks that aren't suiting our body anymore. It can be, herbs. It can be holistic medicine. It can even be, getting our, vitamin levels tested and hormones tested and everything like that. Or, just the blood test to see if everything is in balance. It's embracing a holistic approach to who we are. It is saying, I'm healing myself because I'm standing in myself. I'm not just healing wound after wound. I'm going to the root cause and I'm starting to see what I need to do in order to move forward in the best health that I possibly can. It brings us to our subconscious rooted self, and that is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is the Pope. Here he's wearing the Pope's hat, right? And so the Pope in the medieval world was the most powerful person in the medieval world. He told emperors and kings and queens what to do. And so this is important here. It is the institution, yes, but it's also saying, what is the tradition that needs to propel you forward? What is it that if you turn your back on, you turn your back on yourself? It's not orthodoxy. It's not, dogma. It could be for some of us, but it doesn't have to be. It can be spirituality. It's just the sense of, if I'm not this, then I'm not me. It's kind of like being told you're too nice, right? And you think, oh my gosh, now I'm being told I'm too nice, I'm too innocent, I'm too naive, and it's not a good thing. And then you realize that niceness, that kindness is essential to who you are. I get told this all the time. Like, you're too nice, you're too kind, you're too, naive with things. It's like, no, I get to be a nice person. I get to choose that niceness every single day. Because it's so much easier to be angry, to be bitter, to let people frustrate you, right? It's harder to show up and be kind. And so here we're looking at the tradition of who we are, the core, the quintessential part of who we are. And it's saying, I'm showing up just like this. And this is who I am. And this is what I need in my life. It's being honest. If we need to live in a city, we live in a city. Like, it's saying, okay, I'm making that happen. Like, I'm looking at how to make that happen. If we need to live in a country, we live in the country because we're looking at how to make that happen for us. We're listening to us. We're taking the holistic approach and saying holistically, at the very root of my being, who am I? And that's why it comes up at the root chakra. It brings us to our subconscious energy. What is it? The inner self energy. And this is the Six of Swords. We have a lot of swords in the inner self. We have a lot of thought. We're looking at a lot of things. The Six of Swords is gathering up our knowledge, gathering up what we desire, and moving forward. We have the gift from Spirit coming in, right? The gift just for us. We have the conflict that we have because of the clarity that we're being given, because of the insight that we now have that we didn't have before. Now we gather everything up. Now we move forward because it has opened up doors for us that we didn't think got to be opened for us. We thought, no, other people get to move that way. Other people get to be that way, not me. And Spirit's saying, not true. You get to have more than you imagined. And it doesn't mean that I get to accumulate more things. It means I get to stand in the beauty that is me, embracing what I love, who I am, and embracing a quiet life, a simple life. It doesn't have to be this glamour, this glitz, this, everybody look at me, know my name type of thing. And as we embrace this within ourselves, we see ourselves more openly and more honestly than ever before. And it brings us to our subconscious emotional self. And that is judgment once again. We're answering this call. We're rising out of the darkness. We're seeing who it is that we are. And that is extraordinary. It brings us to our subconscious public arena self. And that is the moon. This is Pisces energy. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Here we have the wolf howling to the moon, and it says dreams and intuition and shadow, dreams, intuition, and shadow, repeated around us like a mantra. What are our dreams? What is our intuition? Show us, tell us. What do we see within the shadow? And what is the shadow self that we are keeping from the world, that we might be even keeping from ourselves? Let me look at the moon. Let me look at what I desire. Let me look at the quiet of the night, and let me see the beauty of my presence. And let me see the beauty of who I am supposed to be during this life, at this time. It's looking at our fears and saying, are those the monsters that get to make me hide and cower? Or are those the monsters that get to be by my side and make others cower at my strength, at my determination? Because I've seen my fears. I've looked at the darkness and I've stared it down and I've stepped into me. All right, Libra. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we break into our hearts in a way that we never thought possible, as we're choosing love, as we're choosing beauty, as we're connecting in a way that is absolutely extraordinary for us. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Libra, and may you have a blessed moon.